I feel like we need to say, like in a talk show, we're back. So we have some questions here, and we'll get to talk about these with the whole panel, but I think I'll start with a question directed towards Chairwoman Charlene Nijmeh, and that question really follows on our delegation to Washington back in March, and also the general strategy going forward with the possibilities for reaffirmation of recognition. And so the question is this: if we had Deb Haaland, Secretary of the Interior, here in the room with us right now, and we were sitting with her, what would you say to her?
Well, I would start, I just saw this and read this article of her own words, and I would remind her of her own words. And I have quoted here. She stated, "At the Interior, we have an obligation to work with tribes to protect their lands and ensure that each tribe has a homeland where its citizens can live together and lead safe, fulfilling lives." That's what I would remind her of her own words.
And this is a kind of a follow-up question that occurs to me is, do you feel a sense of urgency with a Native American as the Secretary of the Interior for the first time in history? Do you feel like it's obviously, when we're talking about Muwekma history, now or never is not an issue, it's always moving forward. But do you feel like with Secretary Haaland in the position that she's in, that there's a certain urgency with trying to achieve what we can right now?
Yes, initially that's what I was hoping for. You know, she's an indigenous woman leader in this position where she has the authority to correct the mistakes of her department. So yes, I think that the hope is that she would listen to our story and take action.
And isn't it true that as part of organizing for our event today that many people in the Interior, in the Department of Interior, including Secretary Haaland, were given links so
Yes.
that they could watch?
Yes, so I do hope they are listening to the broken process of their department and our story, the history of the Muwekma Ohlone tribe in the San Francisco Bay Area. How we struggled to stay together, and we're still here today. And time is of the essence, because like I said, we are being gentrified out of our homeland, and we want to stay here. But we will fight to stay here, because that's what we've been taught. That's all we've been doing, is surviving and fighting to stay on our homeland since first contact.
Let's move to thinking about the Senate and about longtime Senator Dianne Feinstein, who said that she doesn't want another urban tribe. What do you feel like a way that we in the community, as scholars, tribal members, is there a way to approach her in order to turn her opposition into something that's more open?
No, I don't think so. No, I think she's set in her ways. You know, she's built her career here. She's not sure where she's at now, but I don't think there's any way to change her position. She's always been dead set against the tribe and having an urban tribe in the Bay Area. In her area. In her area. Right, because the previous chair, who happens to be my mother, Rosemary Canberra, did state that that she heard those same words from Feinstein herself. Way back, 25, 30 years ago. She doesn't want an urban tribe in her area.
Colin, looks like you have something that you're thinking of saying to add into this conversation.
No, only that's what I have. My understanding as well is that she's been a fairly strong opponent of expansion of tribal recognition, and also expansion of, really concerned about gaming, tribal gaming, and so I can't see her changing her mind on that either.
You know, I have to say we tried at Stanford. She is a Stanford alumna, and has many friends at Stanford. And, when we were collecting the letter in support of recognition from then Provost Condoleezza Rice, I know Provost Rice spoke to Dianne Feinstein. I know other people at Stanford have spoken to her on behalf of the tribe, and never saw even a glimmer of flexibility on her part.
That's both telling and sobering to realize that. If we could talk about something that's on the other side of things rather than the political side, in terms of where the tribe is moving in its own efforts at cultural and linguistic restoration. I was wondering if you would talk to us about specifically the language, the Chochenyo language, and where the tribe is in that effort.
Right. So that started back in the early 2000s. There was a group of councilwomen who the council commissioned to learn the language, to do the research, connect with a linguist, from what I understood, a visiting linguist from UC Berkeley, who took the time. It was a few years. They spent, hours learning the language. So now there is, I want to say, a handful of our members who speak the language fluently. We have 2 councilwomen who speak the language, can hold up a conversation. It's beautiful, but we want to expand that, and teach the members, because it's the children that are eager to learn the language. We can greet ourselves, we know the basics, but we really want to continue that and have conversations and have that grow in the community and for future generations. And most recently, we're working on our cultural revitalization of our dance. It's been 125 years since last year when we first danced March 11th. It was 125 years before that when our last Capitan, Antonio, danced. So it was a very special moment for us. When we danced at the Mexica New Year, they opened up space for us to dance. And this was in support with our Miwok relatives, helping support that effort. And we're still kind of under their wings. They're teaching us our songs, our dance, because we have close relations with them. So we have very similar dance and regalia. And it's been a wonderful experience. And the children, it goes back to the kids. They're very eager to learn this and carry it forward for the next generations.